Another busy show, and we're starting off with a change in ownership.
Phase 3 is near. What does that mean?
Thanksgiving football is back. Happy Thanksgiving.
And we got Benjamin St-Juste in the film room.
Let's do it. And welcome on in, Julie Donaldson, Santana Moss, Fred Smoot, Logan Paulson. So we are that much closer to the franchise officially being sold, Santana.
What can I say? I'm happy for both parties. Dan brought me here, so it's kind of sad to see, him and his wife having to go. But, I want to move forward and look for better things,
Yep, I totally understand what he's saying. I love Tanya and Dan, and at the end of the day, we know what had to happen. It has happened, and we're all going through this transition together.
Yeah, I'm excited for the fans because I think they really wanted that to happen. I'm also excited for Dan because there's 6 billion reasons to be excited for him. So both parties feel pretty good.
Now, we do still have to wait for the other owners in the NFL to officially approve this. But as you saw, Dan and Tanya Snyder, they put out a statement that said, look, this sale, it is going to happen. They agreed to terms, and they do wish the best for the franchise and Josh Harris in the years to come. But in the meantime, it's all about football, and it's back to business as usual. And that means the rookies are on the field for the first time as Commanders.
My whole team goes sky. We everywhere connect like Wi-Fi. 'Cause we can take you there. My whole team goes sky. We everywhere connect like Wi-Fi. You wanna see us, then look up. 'Cause when we fly by, it ain't no thing that pick you up. So don't let's watch out. 'Cause the dream is to be shared.
And this right here, I mean, this is what we want to look at. Seeing these rookies get out there, put in some work, and of course, Emmanuel Forbes showing off why he was picked where he was picked.
Let that dog just be a
I'm
dog.
legs.
And then Stromberg, man, that's a dog I'm excited to see right there, man.
He's a hog.
Oh, there we go. I like it, Fred. I like
You get
it.
excited about those linemen, though.
I do. I get really fired up for linemen. Andre Jones is a guy I get excited for, too. Long arms, a lot of pass rush upside. We'll see what happens
He's
with
a
him.
DB's friend.
Yep.
And Rodriguez here, Tana.
Oh, that's why I want to see this guy. He's one of those thrashers. He's one of those guys that he gonna make it hurt for any.
You said his favorite player, Marshawn Lynch, right?
No doubt. Yeah.
And Braden Daniels, look at this big dog right here, man. Moving this guy off the spot. Gain a little bit of weight for this camp. Getting ready for those bull rushes.
No, that's what you gotta go. Let's wait to protect himself.
Protect himself.
From John Allen and the rest of
As long
those
as
guys.
he can carry it, I'm okay with it.
All right, whatever you always need an advantage when going up against those guys, for sure. Time for our mission debrief, presented by FedEx, where now meets next. It's great to see so many young players in the building starting their NFL careers. But Fred, let me start with you. What are they really working on? What are they getting done right now?
They're getting familiar. They're getting familiar with the coaches. They're getting familiar with their new environment. They're getting familiar with their new teammates. They're getting familiar with their new expectations. And I think that's what you have to slow your way in. And I think that's why you get the young guys here earlier than you do the older guys.
Yeah, and you remember those first rookie minicamps, like how much stress you have. So sometimes just good to get in the building, kind of meet some people, start figuring out like where your locker is, where the training room is. So they're figuring out a lot of stuff, and it's just walking before they can run kind of thing.
I couldn't say it better. They're just getting acclimated with what it's going to be like to be a pro. Right now we're going to do it amongst these guys that it's going to all be, seeing this thing for the first time. And so once they leave here, now it's time to see the varsity.
Yeah, so they'll be joining the rest of the team soon as Phase 3 will begin next week. They're still kind of ramping up right now. So what is the biggest difference when they do get to Phase 3 versus like OTAs and veteran minicamp, Logan?
Yeah, so right now they're in Phase 2, which is basically just like kind of a glorified walkthrough, kind of guys just prepping, installing basic offensive and defensive principles. And then Phase 3, that's when you get to go against the defense, right? You kind of get to see it live in living color, work those run combinations, work that pass concept, see different coverages against your own defense. And so it kind of ramps up a little bit. I think that's one of the most important kind of preliminary evaluation periods of the offseason, quite frankly.
That's when you feel that you belong.
Yeah.
When these guys got to take on Terry McLaurin at practice, when they had to take on Dawson at practice, now you see you running with the pack, you're learning what to do in the locker room. And Phase 3 is just, it's mental. Yeah. I don't look at it as a physical time. I think it's more mental. The coaches are trying to see how fast does he process defensive and offensive play. The players trying to see how fast can they change on the run. So I think it's more of a mental test than it is physical.
And then one of the things I loved about Phase 3 is just seeing the guys that I'm kind of slotted behind. Because those guys are going to be some of your best teachers.
Oh, you eyeing them up.
You know what I mean? He's watching. You're just watching and you soaking it up.
Them up a little bit.
And I remember going home and my receiver coach was like, man, who was the best receiver you saw there? And I told him, I remember when I first got to the Jets, I said, Lavernius Cole is going to be special. And at that time, he had him slotted at like fifth receiver.
Yeah.
and I got hurt and things changed, and he was the number one guy.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of interesting to hear that because we're talking with Benjamin St-Juste in this show, and one of the things that he mentioned, he told us, is that he remembers from his rookie year was going up against Terry McLaurin and picking him off. That was kind of like, okay, I'm here. Like I'm playing with the big boys right now because Terry is, of course, Terry McLaurin. There's some guys that aren't necessarily here, though. Of course, it's just all voluntary, so they don't have to be. But what are they working on then if they're not here, Santana?
Well, it all depends. I'm one of those guys came from a school where we all come back home. And, in Miami, you got the best against the best. So I'm hoping those guys that's not here somewhere putting the work in. I mean, it's not going to be matching what they do here unless you have a spot like Miami that has a lot of guys there, a lot of talent. But I'm just hoping that he's working on something that's going to have them basically ready for phase 3 when they come back.
It doesn't matter where you're putting the work in. You can be in England, Australia, California, as long as the work is being put in. And some guys like to do it their way. Some guys got families. They like to stay close to their family. So it could be a millions of reasons why they're not here. As long as the work is getting put in, and as long as you show up in shape, that's the only thing.
But does it matter more for offense or defense at this point? And especially because you do have a new offensive coordinator coming in trying to put in a new system.
Yeah, I mean, I was always here. I lived in the parking lot. That was my thing, be here. And part of the reason is because you get new offenses in, you got to learn new terminology. And even if the offense isn't new, let's say there's not the new coordinator like there's with the defense, they put in wrinkles, and I want to be here for that. I want to make sure I understand and digest that. So in terms of the work, I totally agree. If you're getting the work in physically, mentally, that's fine. I want to know what the playbook changes are and where I fit in the scheme, and that happens. The foundation is laid now. You can definitely make that up, but the foundational pieces start in phase 2.
Company man.
Okay, so basically everybody has a different approach to the off season, but again, it will be mandatory soon. And I just told you, we're talking with Benjamin St-Juste, so let's hear how that conversation went. Time for our Field Pass, brought to you by the Washington Times. Benjamin, going into your 3rd season. How's it different for you now? And what's going to be asked of you, expected of you, knowing the defense?
Yeah, honestly, going into year 3, very different from 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is kind of a transition, learning the defense, learning how to build a chemistry with your teammates. Year 3, they kind of expect you to take on some of the responsibility of being a veteran. So the new class just came in. So this is my responsibility now as a veteran to help them, show them the way, the same way guys like Kendall Fuller and Cam Carroll did the same thing with me for year 1 and year 2. And yeah, it's a little bit more responsibility, but like I said, on year 3, you're ready for that, and you're just looking to perform, execute everything the right way, so you can help the younger guys and the defense of the players around you to win, play at the best.
Finish this sentence for me. Benjamin St-Juste in 2023 will be
All Pro. None less.
I like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I absolutely loved the confidence coming from St-Juste, especially as he's preparing for his 3rd NFL season. You can catch the full interview on YouTube if you want. Now, the former 3rd-round pick has missed time in each of his first 2 seasons due to injury. But despite that, he's made a name for himself in the secondary. In 21 career games, St-Juste has recorded 68 combined tackles, a pair of sacks, and 10 passes defended. For more on his game, listen it over to the guys. Time to go inside the film room, presented by Amino. It pays to be healthy.
Julie, thanks. Fred, let's talk a little bit more about Benjamin St-Juste, and a guy that with a very unique skill set, right? Here he is right here in the slot, and he's a guy who's at 6'3", you don't expect him to play.
Ever to go inside.
Right.
This shows you his athletic prowess.
And so one of the things that I kind of noticed in going through his plays is that his length is a huge advantage, especially in the run game. He's not necessarily like a big hitter, for example.
He's a tackler.
He's a tackler, but also watch him use his length here to fight off this block. And this is a tight end right here that's going to come block him. Hands on, get off of me, able to get in there and make a play, and that's where that length is so important.
And people don't understand. That's a 6'4", 6'5" tight end that he's doing it for.
Right.
But when you have a wingspan with the ability of this, you can keep the guy off with one hand, secure the tackle with the other, and that's what he really came into his own last year doing.
Yeah, and again, like that, I think that's awesome. And to have a guy who can do that kind of play, not overly physical in the box, but good enough in the box, but then line up and cover your number 1 receiver, and A.J. Brown for Philadelphia, that's pretty special. And I love this play. This is 3rd and 3, short yardage situation, whole route trees exposed. I love how in this quarters coverage, he opens up and then is not overly aggressive getting out of this backfield, right?
He's bailing out of there, but he's keeping his leverage low. He's keeping his eyes on the quarterback, because this is a knock on him coming out of college. He doesn't like to look at the quarterback. This is his progression right there. He's playing through the quarterback, and he's playing down in distance. This is what I like about what he's doing now.
Yeah, and I think that's 100% right. And watch, right when the quarterback hits the stop of his drop. He stops moving his feet, sits down, and then A.J. Brown, who's a really good route runner, has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And again, just matching concepts, the intelligence, the understanding. I love that from a cornerback.
And matching A.J. Brown's physicality. Because you know that's what he does. He bodies wide receiver with St-Juste let him know. You can't body the juice. You can't body the juice. And now that's swag.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see. Because one thing about us cornerbacks, we don't even have to make the play. You know how many times the quarterback that overthrew the ball, and I'm just talking trash. I will beat my 5-yard longer. But you know what? We earn that.
Yeah.
We earn that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and again, seeing that confidence, because he's kind of a quiet guy, to see that confidence coming along. Here he is in the slot again, kind of bouncing in and out of it as the season goes.
Wherever you need me.
And on this big box fade against CeeDee Lamb, so CeeDee Lamb's going to run kind of this, for those who don't know, he's going to stem up and then run kind of the space here. And there's a lot of grass here for him to cover, but he's a great job staying in phase.
A great job staying in phase, not panicking. Letting the wide receiver take him to the ball.
Yeah.
The one thing great wide receivers do, when I used to check Santana in practice, when I had to check him anytime, Santana not putting his hands up early. He putting his hands up late. His eyes don't get big. He keep them the same size.
Right.
So we play. Them are our triggers. He did not panic. He played right in the pocket of the thing, made the play, and this is what showed his maturation as the year went on.
I think you also see the length there, right? He doesn't need to be in perfect phase when you're that long and you have that kind of ability, right? And so again, inside, outside, all this ability. Here he is, outside again against one of the fastest receivers in the NFL, and Cooks.
And a new Cowboy.
So
he will see him
so he's going to
twice.
see him again. That's right. And you pointed this out when we were looking at it earlier, but the turn, the smoothness, the whole thing, right?
No hitch in his back pedal, smooth, waiting on him, patience. And what did I talk about this length? Every time they talk about wide receivers, they talk about catch radius. They never talk about the DB's catch radius.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you something. With him being 6'3", you don't throw fades on him. People saw that last year. He's not going to give you that chance. You're going to have to beat him on comebacks, and this is what he really does. His ball disruption causes turnover.
Yes.
He might not be catching it, but the other people are.
But he allows it. Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to point out here too, Fred, is see how he, like, right as he's running past here, puts his arm out and kind of says, and it's just a little bit of a check.
I just find you.
And even though he runs a 4.5, right, he's able to slow down a faster receiver, stay in phase, and like you mentioned, disrupt the football.
Disrupt the football, and this is what you want, and this is what he brings to the table.
And so he's the guy who said he wanted to be in the Pro Bowl next year. I think he's got the tools to get it done. We'll see how he does in the context of this defense.
Thank you, Logan. Always great stuff when they get into the film room and get all geeked out on football. Now, the Commanders' 2023 schedule was released last week. Washington opens the season at home for the fourth straight year, hosting the Cardinals on September 10th. Washington's going to be playing the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, and you know that has Fred excited. Time for Fred's Fired Up, presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the Washington Commanders.
Oh yeah, I'm fired up, baby. And this time I'm fired up about Thanksgiving because it's where it's supposed to be. Washington, Dallas. And guess what a Cowboys job is, Logan? It's to protect the herd from wolves. And guess what? We got one little young boy coming in here. Sam Howell. The first team. Will get his chance to play in this game. So it's gonna be more than that fried chicken. It's gonna be more than that fried turkey. It's gonna be more than what you used to. But at the end of the day, the real other big question is sweet potato pie. Pumpkin pie.
Don't stop that, man.
I'm asking.
I'm a sweet potato pie guy.
You already know.
You'll always be my best friend.
You already know how I get down.
We already know how you get down. And guess what? Can't wait till that day comes. But that one thing I want to say.
Prime time.
It is prime time.
Yeah, is that fire you up?
We're back on prime time.
Come on, man. Let them know.
Before we say bye, tell them about it. Happy Thanksgiving. That's for my friend.
Oh, yeah, tell them, Fred. We can't get fired up more about beating the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. And make sure you get your tickets to Washington's home opener against the Arizona Cardinals on September 10th at FedEx Field. A reminder that SeatGeek is your new home for Commanders tickets. For more information, to make sure you're there for the season opener, as well as all of our home games this year, visit commanders.com/tickets. Yes, of course. Everybody gets up for the Cowboys, though. That we do on Thanksgiving. 100% we are. Santana, look, here's the thing, though. Vegas picked us to have 6.5 wins on the season.
Vegas, normally not wrong, but I don't think they're right this time around. I'm just saying. I might be biased, but hey,
so
trust
you think
me.
more or less?
More.
More, yeah. How many you got?
Yeah.
I say, look, I'm gonna say 9.
Okay.
That's
9.
fair. I think that's fair.
That's real fair right there.
Yeah, I think 9 is. You do have 9 away games. You have 8 home games this year. And well, we got Logan's picks with Fred. Or was it with Fred?
You know, Fred, not Fred.
Do I look like Fred?
Good news is we're rolling. That's a blooper. Yeah.
I love it. We got to show that to Fred. We have to show that to Fred. Fred, you've seen it.
I'm living rent-free in Logan's head right now.
Man.
Not only
Rent-free.
that, he made me a linebacker that looked like CeeLo Green. How's that even
Man,
possible,
I'm gonna cut that man down.
No, I'm
Just
just
catch
telling
some
you,
strays right here.
I played with London, man. I think London looked nothing alike.
What I do want to ask is, look, you're obviously usually standing next to Logan, but London was he had some rose-colored glasses on.
12 wins? Get out of here.
11.
I don't.
Hey.
I think it's one of those things. If the team can get on the road, like if the defense can play to their ability and the offense comes out and be 2 steps better than last year, you can't tell me that ain't worth first 3 games. I think this team can get to 10 or 11 games, to be honest. Now, not as quite as ludicrous as London. 12, that's a lot of games. But they can get to 10 or 11 games.
I think, like you said, if the offense progresses, if EB comes in, if Sam Howell progresses, and if the O-line gels, there's a lot of ifs there. And that's the thing that gives me pause. That's why I think Vegas and some of these other organizations that rate these early preseasons are a little bit lower on the team. But there is a world, absolutely, they rattle off 11 wins.
Well, and they do it the 6.5 off of what we were talking, all of last season. And we know the seasons never repeat. The players never stay the same way. They grow, they progress.
The longest, best running reality show of all times.
You're right.
Sports.
You're absolutely right.
We have content every single day. And on Thursdays, it is Tana's Takes. What are you talking about this week?
I'm mixing it up a little bit. I'm gonna talk a little NHL and basketball. You see, I got my 305 representation.
Some fire takes there, man.
That's a fire hat too. I was gonna say, I like that. I like that. Good pink Miami hat. And then we have Logan lives in the comments on Fridays. That's where everybody, if you have a question, give it to Logan. He answers them.
Yeah, and it wasn't just me this week. Tana and Smoot had some excellent input as well, and we broke down red zone plays that Kansas City ran that could be really good fits here in Washington. So really good stuff.
They can ask personal questions too, like, where did you get those shoes? Anything they want to ask Logan, please.
I mean, if you really want to ask where he got his shoes, by all means, folks, if that's what the burning question is, you can catch those on Fridays, although Logan probably gets to pick the questions. He might skip right over that. Monday, it is my exclusive interview with the player each and every week. We are talking about what they're working on in the off season. We have an amazing podcast for you that's a lot of fun with all of these 3 gents. Comes out on Tuesdays, of course. New episode Command Center Wednesday. Tana and then Logan close the week out. When they're not on the football field, they're still putting in work. James Smith Williams traveled to the Republic of Korea.
That had to be fun.
That is so cool, man. What an awesome experience to be working up with our military service members. That's great.
Yeah, flying that far to another country and flying right back. It shows his love to want to do this.
Going to Korea to work out is one thing. Talking about military, though, some of our other guys got a really special treat. Being able to fly in a helicopter right around D.C.
That's dope, right there.
That seems like really cool to see all the monuments from this vantage point.
Well, what you don't know is whole DC is a no-fly zone,
Right.
so most people don't get that view beside the vice president and the president.
Oh, I wish I could, though. I would have jumped all over
There's
that.
FedEx right there. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's nice.
Oh, we know you can't fly.
Yeah, that's the
FedEx,
Castle
so-
Fred Smith
And
building.
then there was a fantastic 34th annual Burgundy and Gold banquet featuring, of course, none other than Joe Gibbs.
old ball.
And at that one, B-Rob and Duron Payne, they were giving out some awards as well.
Always good to see the old ball coach. Good to see him smiling. The one thing he does, he brings the DMV together. I love that.
Nothing gets away from us. Let's earn it today, okay? Hey, win with style, man. Win with style. Great job. Hey, proud of all of you. Proud of all of you, man.
I was at the event, and it was so great hearing so many stories that he loved sharing about his time coaching the team. Of course, 2 stints here.
Yeah.
You 2 were here for the second one.
Yeah, one of the highlights of my 14-year career was being coached by Coach Gibbs.
Yeah.
I heard so much about his championship winning pedigree, and then to be brought here, going into my second phase of my career and having him to be able to show us what it was like to go out here and win and be a Redskin, it was a great experience.
Closest time I ever got to a champion. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm kind of like the reason he came back. Gibbs 2.0. So at the end of the day, Coach Gibbs. Yes, he is.
Hold on. Somebody mentioned Coach Gibbs.
Look at this guy.
What are y'all talking about?
We're talking stories of Coach Gibbs. Give us a
Let
story.
me say this. First of all, before he got here, he was with me in Tampa, my rookie year.
All right.
So that's how I got to Tampa.
Wow.
Because in college, he's the only coach that came down to see me.
Ain't that a blessing?
And 2 days he spent with me doing student teaching in my classroom. I had Joe Gibbs in the back.
There you go.
And then I came up here, man, it was a blessing. You know, we all know Coach Gibbs is a very spiritual individual.
He is.
And I was traded in 1987, and he told me, he said, look, I got this feeling. He said, I changed my mind. I got this feeling, a gut feeling. You know, he always said, gut
You
feeling.
trust that
Yeah,
gut.
he said, I got a gut feeling. We're going to come back and win this thing.
Yeah.
So when you say Coach Gibbs, man, my ears pop up.
I'm totally with you on that one.
Now, the only one that can claim a ring as well in this room. I'm just saying. Logan's just hanging out
Yeah,
there.
I'm just saying, wow, it's looking at history right here. It's always good to get that.
Can't get enough of the old stories. Can't get enough of honoring Coach Gibbs as well. And of course, anytime you're graced with the legend Doug Williams on set to close out a show, well, that's a wrap. Dana, take us.
What Coach Gibbs is back. You know what you gotta do when you at camp right there. You gotta get ready with the heat.
And then, you know what? You just take it and throw it to
Toss it out.
the yeah.
No, the great Alba, right? Get out, friend. You're on the camera too. I don't know why they are moving around. That is not, you know. It's bad.
Oh, hey, before you go, make sure you like and subscribe our channel so you don't miss any content that we put out for you. And should you happen to miss last week's episode, it's right here.